It's not a drill, family. Imagine being faithful for more than 10 years, supporting your partner through jail time scandals and public scrutiny that would make even Kris Jenner perspire. And then being publicly body-bagged on a live stream, like yesterday's leftover skull Papoose. Yes, Mr. Blacklove was verbally evicted from Remy Ma's heart in front of the entire internet. Easily, the block captain took his place. And according to Remy, he's more than just a man, he's her dream. We've got leaked direct messages, shady subtweets, secret studio sessions, and an alleged confrontation that ended with someone's wig being metaphorically snatched. Trust us, it's not who you think. So grab your popcorn, sip your tea, and turn on your notifications. Is this real life? Or did Maury start a YouTube channel and forget to tell us if chivalry is finally dead or if it was just ghosted by someone with better bars and a verified Instagram? Relationship goals across the face with a microphone stand. Microphone ready? Let's reveal the drama. Let's go back to before the betrayal, before the live stream. Before the culture was shaken awake by one of the most unexpected relationship blows hip-hop has ever witnessed. Remy Ma and Papoose. The so-called unshakable. The blueprint for loyalty. The couple that withstood politics, tabloid rumors, prison walls, and every temptation the entertainment industry could throw at them. He waited for her for 7 years in a single moment. Broadcast live to thousands, Remy Ma didn't just end a relationship. She performed a public deconstruction of it, dismantled the myth of what they were, and stripped away all illusions with a few words that echoed like gunshots across the internet. I was loyal to a fantasy, she said. I built an empire together. Love and hip-hop didn't just feature them, but it marketed them as the one couple above drama, the grown, and the bulletproof bond that no scandal could touch until now, because people couldn't believe it when Remy Ma, the same woman who once thanked Papoose for being her rock for staying 10 toes down while she served 6 years in prison, suddenly claimed publicly that the man meant nothing to her. That's not a revelation. Rather, it's a cultural explosion. These were her words, her mouth, her camera, and her moment. It was the verbal equivalent of setting fire to your own house and walking away without flinching. There were long pauses, awkward silences, and fleeting glances between Remy and another man. And that man wasn't just anybody. Eazy, the block captain, battle rapper, street poet, the gritty no filter, no apologies type who wasn't here for the fake Hollywood smiles or a carefully crafted couple branding. They had been drifting, and the body language at recent events had changed. Papoose, once proudly front and center, started showing up like a background extra in his own marriage. Once embodied, and perhaps even began to crave again. This is where it gets complicated, though, because he wasn't just an outsider or a random name sending bar-heavy pickup lines into direct messages. He was already in her orbit. She had hired him, booked him, and promoted him on Chrome 23, her own battle rap league, and he was her investment, her artist, and, if rumors are to be believed, her emotional escape route. When you watch the video, the way she looked at him, the frequency of their conversations, and the alleged late night at the Chrome 23 anniversary event. A video surfaced that didn't go viral right away, but it has a memory on the internet. Remy is seen leaning in toward Eazy, her hand lingering on his shoulder for just a second too long, and Papoose is right there, watching, smiling. But the smile doesn't reach his eyes. It begins to paint a picture, not a blurry one, but a sharp, high-definition betrayal captured in slow motion. His eyes are the kind of look someone gives when they've already lost the person standing next to them. It initially appeared to be a case of industry pressure, tour stress, and hectic schedules, but something wasn't right. Then, during what was supposed to be a routine Instagram live Q&A with fans, someone asked her, perhaps in jest or as a follow-up question, "Do you still love Papoose?" She didn't bat an eye, didn't hesitate, and simply stared into the camera before responding. "I loved the idea of him, but sometimes you outgrow ideas." It took only 16 words to rewrite over 10 years of public devotion to make the man who stood by her side during the darkest time of her life seem like a disposable chapter in her story. Twitter exploded, TikTok erupted, Reddit melted down, and YouTube commentators were overwhelmed. When the shift occurred, people stopped debating and began watching in disbelief because what followed wasn't even anger or resentment, but rather detachment. When the Queen of Black Love declares the king irrelevant, it's not just a relationship ending, it's a narrative collapsing. Theories began to pour in, with some claiming she was never truly in love in the first place and was only loyal to the loyalty, while others claimed she found new purpose and was reborn as the woman she was before the sentence, before the baby. They were even recording reaction videos in real time, leaving even ardent Remy and Pap fans blinking at their screens, asking, is this really happening? Then came the so-called receipts, private messages, screenshots, leaked audio clips, and conversations that allegedly took place between Remy and close friends, detailing how long she'd been emotionally done. Before the careful image management, everyone agreed that this wasn't a publicity stunt. This was raw and real. Rumors circulated that her bond with Eazy had begun months or even years earlier, that the flirtation turned to chemistry, turned to something physical long before the public had a clue. And here's the most, according to insiders. The dynamic changed behind the scenes when Papoose stopped attending events unless absolutely necessary. Chrome 23 staff began speculating that certain team members abruptly quit without explanation. And Remy and Eazy remained silent for the brand's image and illusion, because what's worse than losing the woman you love and watching her fall for someone else while the world still believes you're her? There is more going on here than just a personal collapse, as there are rumors of financial disputes, power struggles, and secret contracts being renegotiated behind Papoose's back. Some claim that Eazy isn't just the new man, he's being positioned as the new partner in business and brand and everything. But Papoose has remained silent, has not responded to the public, and has not responded to the media. Statement: a few mysterious Instagram stories that seem more like resignation than retaliation. Or perhaps he knew this was coming and thought it would end. Or perhaps he has been preparing for a war that none of us knew was imminent because, according to a source close to Chrome 23, what the public saw was only the beginning of the full collapse that is imminent. This isn't just a love story gone wrong. It's a blueprint that is unraveling a kingdom in real time, turning it to ash. And if the rumors are accurate, what's going on behind the scenes is, even if what we're hearing is half as chaotic, what follows will make everything up to this point appear mild. To realize what actually caused this collapse, what the altercation between Eazy and Papoose looked like, and what insiders are saying about Rhee's long-term play, we need to delve deeper because the heartbreak is only the surface. The true story is one of betrayal at the highest level, power, legacy, and the final explosion. Been brewing for months, if not longer, and now that Remy's words were public, every suspicious look, post-delay, and canceled appearance all made sense. The silence wasn't one of calm, but rather of preparation. And when it came, it didn't just ruin a relationship, it sent shockwaves through an entire industry. The altercation between Papoose and Eazy wasn't captured on livestream, but parts of it leaked witness audio and an unedited security clip from backstage at the LPL 123. One witness said Papoose waited until Eazy was alone, without an entourage or cameras, just a narrow hallway with low lighting and years of built-up restraint. You crossed the line, he allegedly said. She was my world. The Fight Night event was anonymously posted to a mid-tier blog before being mysteriously deleted hours later, but not before a few people saved it. What they described is even partially accurate. It wasn't a conversation. Said she chose differently, and that was it. There were no punches, just silence, not because there wasn't anger, But because the real battle had already been lost and Papoose realized that he wasn't just outnumbered but also replaced, several Chrome 23 employees quit the following week. With no explanations or statements. It's just a series of abrupt departures that industry insiders are referring to as the silent breakdown of a power structure that once supported Rhee's success. This is where things take a darker turn. According to leaked internal documents purportedly sent by a disgruntled former Chrome 23 employee, there are significant financial discrepancies in the league's books, missing payouts, duplicate invoices, and budget approvals with no trail. And the pattern appears to have started shortly after Eazy, the block captain, was brought on as captain. Overnight, the side began to distance themselves. Some claim it was due to loyalty, while others claim it was out of fear of being implicated in what was about to happen. A full-time talent consultant. No one is claiming that he is directly accountable, but what is concerning is how quickly some decisions were made after he joined the equation. According to one whistleblower going by the alias C23 Insider, more than $300,000 in league sponsorship funds were transferred into a private company, and new hires were approved without background checks, and production costs tripled for some events without receipts. Although there isn't any concrete evidence yet, if the promotional fund managed off books is linked to a limited liability company owned by someone with the initials EBC, it indicates that this isn't just about infidelity, but also about money, power, and possibly fraud. And guess who was allegedly barred from the financial meetings for months prior to this Papoose? He wasn't just being emotionally excluded. He was being legally excluded in a covert manner. Strategic sources claim that he privately voiced his concerns to Remy and was advised to have faith in some legal experts speaking off the record. Have conjectured that if these financial shifts are real and traceable, it could expose Remy Ma to serious investigation for misuse of sponsorship dollars, fraudulent reporting to partners, improper allocation of funds tied to media and merchandise deals, and corporate malpractice. However, by the time he realized what was happening, the paper trail was already too faint to follow, and the new leadership structure was already locked in. Unfazed has doubled down since the livestream, with no retractions or apologies, just cryptic posts about clarity, freedom, and standing in your truth. She has been pictured at private dinners with Eazy, and they are moving like a couple who have already survived the backlash. The strategy is clear. Don't defend the move yourself. Instead, reframe the chaos as control and make the betrayal look like liberation. At least some of her younger fans, particularly those who are aware of battle rap culture, are calling Rhee's move bold. The rest of the culture isn't so forgiving. Older fans, hip-hop historians, and women who supported Remy throughout her comeback aren't just disappointed. They feel deceived and betrayed, and they're not keeping quiet. Instagram comment sections have become virtual battlegrounds, with some fans calling for boycotts and others applauding Remy for choosing passion over duty. They're strengthening the kind of self-actualization men have gotten away with for decades, demanding answers regarding the whereabouts of their money. Particularly those who invested in Chrome 23 merchandise pay-per-view events or Patreon-style supporter platforms that are currently being questioned for transparency. Remy keeps posting, as if nothing happened, but Papoose is eerily silent, and silence is beginning to turn from dignity to suspicion. What is he waiting for? Why hasn't he spoken up? If half of what we've discovered is true, he might be planning something much larger than a quiet social media clapback. According to sources, Papoose has been gathering evidence, communications, financial records, voicemail backups, and possibly even non-disclosure agreements on Diaz that were violated. Rumor has it that he is meeting with lawyers, business attorneys, contract specialists, brand protection experts, and people who deal with lawsuits rather than emotions. The theory is that he still has partial ownership over Chrome 23. At least on paper. And if those rights were taken away or diluted without proper consent, this story is ending in courtrooms. A former producer who worked on early Chrome 23 events reached out anonymously and said that this was always going to happen because Ray has been building an empire but didn't want to share the throne. Papoose will finally speak with Remy about the process of Eazy's alleged affair and rebranding push, because if Eazy was hired during this transition, and it turns out that there was already a romantic relationship, that's a conflict of interest that could unravel everything. Crack under pressure. Will Chrome 23 withstand a thorough audit? Or will all three of them simply move on while the rest of us continue to argue over who is right and who is just louder? Here's what you can do right now if you're sick of fake empowerment masquerading as genuine betrayal. Share this video with others if you think more people need to see past the headlines. And don't forget to subscribe because, believe me, isn't not by a long shot. The next chapter is already being written, and you'll want to be the first to hear it when it comes out. So, now that we've pulled out the receipts, held them up to the light, and watched the whole fairy tale burn, let's talk. Are we truly calling this growth? Or did Remy Ma just press the eject button on loyalty and call it elevation? Is Papoose a victim? Or is he just another man who believed that keeping it down would easily lead to a happy ending? Is a masterclass in how to burn everything and smile for the camera. So tell me in the comments if you're Team Remy, Team Pap, or Team Esh. Additionally, if you're sick of influencers portraying treachery as bravery, hit the like button while you're down there. This wasn't just a breakup though. It was a rebrand, a calculated, emotionless chess move that left the king knocked off the board and the world watching like it was pay-per-view. Believes that there is true love in the music industry, and of course, subscribes, because this was only the beginning of the chaos. As you are already aware, we are watching court filings, cryptic posts, quiet unfollows, and the next level of mess that is undoubtedly coming. And when it does, we will be the first to voice what everyone else is whispering, that this wasn't love, but war, and we're not done exposing it.